Blessings. Good good evenings. No, I was just sitting here thinking about that there was a statistic showed that people were dying 162 163 bodies were found like from suicide like a day. That's a crazy way to video, but this is just the crazy facts. That was in 2020, and just trying to bum me out, but I was just thinking that because this is in the U.S. and it just kind of proves, like it goes to show, it kind of proves the fact that we're kind of, people that need other people. Obviously, we're definitely like these small community thing of having like a tight knit like support system is definitely an essential. I think it was like 10% of Americans at the time admitted. Those people just admitted that they had thought of it or had trouble with it, or 53% said they were affected by it, and then 48,000 people died. That was like a record high. It was like, I think that's 6,000 higher than in 2018. So yeah, I mean, obviously people like were joking about it, but just a lot of people were bummed out, and they were like the usage of like antidepressants and stuff like skyrocketed. So yeah, you just run into that issue where like what is going to be done about it? Is that it? We just look at the statistic, or can we actually do something? And obviously with a lot of us, the option is there that you could actually just become more open. You could become more, I guess, quote unquote vulnerable, but it's just being like a little bit more open to that kind of like awkward stage of well, realizing, one, there's nothing really that can hurt you. They obviously keep releasing statistics that show that that disease only affected like 0.1% or around there. So for the rest of us just to all stop doing everything is pretty insane, but we were just kind of convinced it into doing it, brainwashed. But you can also just think about the fact that, yeah, you could just go and meet people, or like even with relationships, it's kind of odd because most of the time you have these large chance encounters get turned away constantly because of fear of rejection or fear of like that person not being enough, or you not being enough, and then or having some type of conflict. When all those things could just be resolved through just clear communication, like being able to say like, hey, these are my parameters, and so far at this point in my evolution, I'm not really that comfortable with like being yelled at or or emotionally abused or physically or whatever it is. But I mean, those things are kind of more obvious, but to some people I guess they just don't fucking seem to want to care, and they just do it anyway. There goes a wind tunnel, or wind tornado with the dust in it. But yeah, I think it's a huge thing. Like say if a guy and a girl or whoever, irrelevant, it could be any type of sex, but just going for simple, you could have a person that's not completely compatible with another person, maybe in their eyes, but go and just go out with them because that's the only thing they have at the time. Maybe you just, because there's a lot of people obviously are just lonely as shit if they're taking all these Xanaxes and antidepressants and anxiety pills, and they're going online and doing who's what and what that, like to find some type of connection, like through like, I don't know, some back pages. But if we just had it where people were more communicative, like say, hey, like I know me and you aren't exactly the same people, but I think we have a huge chance to be appreciative and supportive and have some fun times, like really great times, if we just gave it a chance, like, and then obviously like with a lot of time, yeah, it does turn out with like girls, they're a lot more because they see themselves as like weaker and like physically, and they think of like many guys as like a potential threat of like some type of like physical attack or like death, when like that's like a very small percentage of like attacks. And I think it was like for that, I think it was like only like 3% of all people have ever reported any type of like actual physical abuse for guys, and it was almost the same for girls. It was like 1.7 or something in some year. So it was more for guys, but and then you just say, hey, like we could be, obviously you're not, I don't see your criminal background or that you have one, so you're obviously not a psycho killer, so that's avoided. And I didn't see any skin vases in your trunk there, but you could come hang out, or maybe if you're really that afraid, maybe like go on and like, you know, look at their other relationships, or maybe there's some of a rating service, but still, like, I don't think we're there yet. You could even ask their friends if they're psycho, or and then just go out and have a good time. I mean, whatever you want to do, fucking do it up, do it all. Yeah, you can do it without having some type of you know, emotional attachment to like, oh, you have to marry that person right after, or we have so many different sociological implants like that. You at a certain age, like you can't like just go out and just see people or hang out like and not really know like what you want to do with them. Just, you have to have some type of goal in mind, like this person's going to be with me forever, when like a lot of things in life are temporary. Like I think it's like 65% of marriages fail. So, and obviously they all thought at the time that was going to last like till they're 95, but that just also is like over half is just kind of BS. Like you're kind of just like tricking yourself, and it's fine. I mean, you know, maybe you did think it was at the time, but at the same time, if people could just be more open, like you could just go get like an STD test together, and like if you're scared about that, if that's one of the things, you got to look at what is pulling it out, what's restraining people from being like living their life to their fullest. Actually, like, because like, that's like a huge liberating thing, I guess, too, is like that's a huge emotional increase of dopamine and endorphins and exercise, if you can do it, if you have that option. Physical touch, electrical connection, huge boost of relief from anxiety and depression. That's like a literal connection to a person, but obviously those people just consider that off the deep end, like that's too much to handle. But you could also just ask them, are you, you know, on some type of birth control? Are you disconnected down there? Are you hoo-has, you know, chopped off? Your webbles, and then you can't get pregnant. So then there's all the negatives. Like, not a psycho killer. Check that off. Geek. Not a fucking which is like a ridiculous thing to even think of. It's such a low percentage, but. And you'd probably be able to tell. They'd be acting like pretty crazy. Like, hey, I'm gonna snip your hair. Yeah, take me home into your, and I'll put you in the back of my fucking dungeon. And well, that's like 50 Shades of people like that. And then no unwanted babies to check, and then no STDs. What's the hurt in doing it and having one of the best things imaginable for free? Literally, it doesn't have to cost. You don't even have to go to dinner or anything. You just fucking straight up ask. But people, mainly, and obviously, yeah, this could bring up some sensitivity, but mainly women are the ones that are resistant to that because of some genetics, but because they're looking for, they say it's a potential mate to take care of children. But if you don't want children, and you're not just looking for a guy, and it's part of your endorphins and your natural causes to need a mate to get off that built up pressure and that constraint of like not being able to release that natural. It's just natural. It's like eating. You get hungry, you get hangry. You know, you're angry. They call it that. Everyone has that. Holy shit! There's a plane flying across the coast. But and then it's also part of it that you just, people just see it as a nasty, disgusting thing. I mean, it's also been put to the meter. You can watch someone's fucking arm get blown off and like see all the guts and like the little veins hanging out, and like that's fine. But like if someone does it, it's like it's completely censored. It's not allowed on TV. If you put it on like some internet site, they'll flag it and video it and like give you like block your account eventually. And it's just it's so obvious how weird that is, that you can like, I mean, some sites have some restriction on violence, but most of the time on like TV and all the movies and shit we see, it's like they're just dry hump, and then that's all you can see for sex. But then like maybe some like part of an ass cheek during time, but no penis or badgies showing there. And then like, but then you can like show the guy's fucking same dick get blown off, and like that's fine, that's cool, that's fucking, it's like coming off. And like, so we're obviously just brainwashed to avoid that too. But there's other free ways to have fun, I guess, or more free. I mean, you can go on a hike with someone, in like in public, you know, where other people are, I guess would be safer route. But like a park or a fucking, you know, some place where people are. Nature is very nurturing, and just bringing people together, making your own groups, getting people to assemble with like interests. There's like meetup.com, and there's Facebook groups, and there's just a lot of different ways to make some type of community. But obviously now, especially, it's really been brought to the forefront that a lot of people, even before that pandemic, quote unquote, were afraid to just be out and about with, and they just kind of just stuck to themselves, and because they've been hurt in the past or something, or someone like that they thought they could trust to screw them over. But there's a lot of different ways you can prevent that from happening. Like obviously just don't like give people your secret information, or like don't tempt them, like leave your shit out and like allow them to just take it, and like you can just hide all your stuff, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. You're free to just like relax and like hang out and like have fun with whoever. So yeah, that's just my suggestions. I didn't want I could go on, but didn't want the video to be too long. Just thought it'd be cool to reflect that back to you. We need to end that disease of mental disarray, anxiousness, angst, disconnection, fear of each other, fear of hugging even. If you're still scared, you just fucking wear a mask and some gloves and hug and hang out. I mean, it's not going to kill you, but obviously, yeah, if you're looking to not kill someone else that's old or really weak, then that's fine. I mean, there's different ways of doing things. It's not just not do it, you know? Wear a fucking hazmat suit and go. Gives a shit. Just live. But it doesn't ever, like, you don't want to live fully. You just live in like these sheltered holes, like, and act like that's okay that everyone's fucking like depressed and like alone. It's weird. But yeah, anyway, I think that's the main point. Is like, it's just these small precautions. It could be just a little preparation and a little more communication makes a huge difference. You can just be like way more lively. Look at this. I'm not here by myself, of course.